Hello, welcome to this month's vlog. Today is the 3rd of July. I haven't really done much since I finished my mini clay pot last month. So this month I want to spend more time drawing and painting. I made this mini watercolor sketchbook last month, so I want to make more of these and use them for Inktober. I know it's a little early to be mentioning Inktober in July, but because I'm going to be away, I thought I'd use the time I have now to plan ahead, and I won't have to rush to make these in September when everything goes back to normal routine. I also have a lot of sketches that I've done, and I think I want to turn some of these into stickers. I also got this canvas from B&M last month, so I also want to make some original art this month and use my watercolors and gouache paint sets. So I'll try to film what I can and include all the tools and materials that I will be using along the way. I'm gonna get off now. You want to go? What have you seen? So I'm going to stop here today. Come on then, let's get you some dinner. Bye.
This one gives a stone effect, so I want to try this as well, just to see how it comes out when I mix it with the number 2 paste. Maybe I should do this in layers, but I don't have the patience. Life's too short to wait around for paint to dry. I'm sure you'll agree. So all 4 canvases have been prepped now, so I'm going to leave them to dry for a couple of hours and then come and check on them.
So these have been drying for over 3 hours now. I can see on the side this one is still a little bit wet, so I'll leave it resting here for a little bit longer. So this is with just the number 2 paste and it's fully dry. So this seems to dry much quicker because the paste is much more smoother. And this one was a mix of the smooth paste and the grainy paste. And this one also seems to be almost dry. So I think I'll leave the 2 grainy canvases to dry for a bit longer, and I'll start using the 2 smooth canvases now.
Hello, it's the next day and this is what I've done so far with this painting. Also, I think I'm getting a sore throat because my husband came with a cold last night and I think he passed on to me. I couldn't record all of the stages because my camera died sort of halfway, I think, and I was in the mood, so I just continued. But it's still not finished yet, so I'm going to work a bit more on it today. I messed up with the badger pot. You can see I've scraped all of the paint off just to try and redo this area again on its body. So I really like this grainy effect. I wasn't sure about it once I actually sat down to start painting, but because everything is dry now, I think I quite like this sort of grainy effect. So this effect was done by, I think I used the number 5 paste. It's like this German product, so I'm not sure what they are called, and it's picked up all of the brush strokes as well, which is nice. So I'm listening to Moby Dick on Audible at the moment, and it's really interesting the way they've sort of dramatized it. I've been meaning to listen to it again when I have more time, so I thought when I'm painting these canvases, I'll listen to that again, and hopefully this will be done by today, and I'll leave it to dry overnight.
It's the 14th of July today, and I haven't been filming for over a week now because I haven't been well. Today I think I can just about bear to hold a brush, so I thought I'd get started on my second canvas because I still have 3 more canvases to finish, and I finished the first canvas. It took a little bit longer than I expected, but I think I'm happy with the way it turned out so far. So it's just been really hot and we've in the middle of this heat wave in the UK, and it's just been punishing heat. So most of the time I've just been resting, and I didn't really want to record anything because I wasn't feeling 100%. So I have a few things piled up that I want to catch up. I did this little mini project with my daughters using these lightweight clay, and I made this toy for Nala because she likes stringy things and things that she can jump up and catch. And I used my acrylic stamps to stamp her name and these little sea creatures. So I'm going to hang this somewhere where she can play with it, and obviously I can keep an eye on her so she doesn't end up swallowing anything. She shouldn't, but obviously she's a kitten, so I have to keep an eye on her. I can't wait to give it to her and see if she plays with it. My daughters made these animal figures. So this is a giraffe, a snail. This is supposed to be Nala. This is a kangaroo, and I think this is supposed to be a hippo or something, she said. I think this is supposed to be a stork or something. I'm not sure. So I spent most of that afternoon just sitting down. All I could focus on was just making something with my hand, and this was the best thing I could put my mind to without feeling completely exhausted and overwhelmed. So there's not much daylight left now. I don't know how much I'm going to get done, but I am going to get started on the next painting. Because I'm still not feeling well, I'm already feeling like giving it a miss today, but I really want to just finish these canvases. If I just push past it and just get the base colors on the canvas, and hopefully that will motivate me to just keep going and continue. Because these paints have been out for a while, over a week, they've dried up, so I'm just gonna spray some water on them to soften them up again, and hopefully they'll reactivate. It's the next day. It's around 6:45 in the evening. The sun is still out. Very intense heat in my room, and I'm still not feeling 100%. So I have finished this painting almost. I have a few more details to add, but I think I'm just going to leave it for a couple of days, and I'm trying to get into the habit of doing more sort of looser paintings. I tend to become quite detail focused with the brush, and then I kind of lose the whole loose feeling of the painting. I do want to push through and move on to the next canvas. I'm not sure how much of it I'm going to be able to film because it's already 7 o'clock in the evening. So I really want to use this watercolor set that my husband bought for me a while ago, but I do remember I loved the vibrancy of the colors. I'm not sure what grade of paint this is, so I don't know if it's for students or for like professional artists. I think it's called Marie's. I think it was like an old batch, so some of it was a bit damaged, and so I put a bit of tape on it just to make sure that the paints don't leak out. I'm also going to be adding some gum arabic just to increase transparency and vibrance. Hello, it's the 23rd of July today, so it's now officially the summer holidays. I haven't really done much for the past 2 days because I hit a roadblock with this painting. So instead, I engaged in some productive procrastination. If you want to know what all that is about, I'll leave the link to the audiobook below. So I decided to do some deweeding in the garden because the weather was quite nice, and I just left this aside because there always comes a point in every painting where it doesn't quite turn out the way you expect it to, and sometimes it's easier to just push past it and you carry on. But with this piece, I'm still undecided whether I want to go on or start again. This was done about 10 o'clock last night, and I wasn't really being intentional. I was just doodling and sketching, and I came up with these drifting fishes. They're not any particular type of fish, they're just something that I scribbled. If you're interested in seeing how I made these little mini books, then you can watch the video over here. So this is what I did last night, just to feel like I've done something artistic and creative. Also, I want to move on and do the next final piece on this smaller canvas, but I'm not sure if I can actually get to that today because it's coming on to 7 o'clock now. So maybe I'll make this piece into a separate video. You can see the process video linked up here. So I'm going to get on now. It's the 30th of July today, and I'm almost finished with all of my final pieces. The portrait of Nala is complete. I'll talk a bit more about it in a moment. I still have the sunflower to complete. I'm not too bothered about this painting because I lost interest. So with the first painting that I did, I think because I enjoyed doing this painting, this kind of built the motivation for me to carry on to the next painting, which was this one. I'm not completely happy with this because I could have done a better job, but because it was quite different to the first painting, I wanted to be a bit more loose. I think I was undecided whether I wanted to keep it abstract or make it more lifelike. So I think I ended up with something in between. In the second week of July, I did become unwell, so I think I did this just before that. This painting is from a photograph I took at the park of this lonely flower. It was just the only one there, and I thought it would make a nice painting, so I captured the image and I think I took a video of it as well, and that's where I got this image from, and then developed the image sort of into my own idea of how I wanted it to look like in the painting. I think the longest time I spent was on the flower itself. Then I just did the rest of it quite quickly. Sometimes I do try to work fast and see how the painting turns out. I was trying to actually paint quite loose, but because of the techniques and everything that I'm using, I tend to end up with quite tight paintings. So these are actually what culminated into this portrait that I did of Nala. So I think with this painting, I did my best to get it as accurate to the way I wanted it to look as possible. I can still see some details and stuff that I could improve on. I do have a tendency to want to go back and touch it up in places that I think I could have done a better job, but I am trying to resist doing that because I do have a tendency to overwork my paintings. So this painting took about 15 hours to complete. I did it over, I think, 3/4 days. So I'm going to carry on with this now and try and finish it.